here.
That's important.
Yeah, that is important. Okay, so my name is Candace. I am a fan of a bunch of things, including but not limited to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, various cartoons, Disney movies, all that stuff.
Yes.
And this is how I approach shipping.
It looks like Jarble, but you know.
But wait, this isn't about boats or spaceships. No! Some brief definitions in case you don't know what shipping is. In this case, ship is short for relationship, which is a couple that you like in any kind of fiction, and your couple is your ship. It kind of has its origins in X-Files fandom. People who wanted Scully and Mulder to get together were called relationshippers, and eventually that became shortened to ship. A shipper is a person or a group of people who ship a couple, and an OTP is your one true pairing. That is the couple you love the most.
You also have
and depending on family, a wide span of OTPs across different fandoms. Canon is the medium which your ship is found, so books, TV shows, movies, comics, podcasts, everything. All of the things. Now, shipping is not a new invention. In fact, it goes back very, very far, and this is an incomplete history of doomed ships. We're going to go back to the Greeks because the Greeks did everything. So we have Orpheus and Eurydice. They proved the ancient Greeks, they're just like us. So what happened with them is that Orpheus and Eurydice are very in love, and on their wedding day, Eurydice, I believe, gets bitten by a snake and dies. So he goes to the underworld, and Orpheus is like, I'm gonna go get my girl back. And he goes to the underworld, bargains with Hades and everything. Hades is like, okay, cool. You get your girl, but the thing is, on the way out, you can't look back at her.
Hades is actually a very soft touch. It's his wife you have to account for.
Yeah. So he's like, you can't look back. As long as, you get to the above ground.
You had one job.
And of course,
He got
Orpheus
too damn
is
eager.
suicided, and he turns at the last minute, and Eurydice is then plunged back into the underworld. So this is a very, one of those myths that kind of gets redone a bunch, and its influence is seen in works like Rappy's Rainbow, this young adult novel that came out a few years ago called Bone Gap, the movie Black Orpheus, I believe it's also a play, and then also the movie Looper has some influence in this, and the She and Him song Don't Look Back.
And it also reminds me of the movie The Book of Life. There's like a
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true. And then we have Guinevere and Lancelot. We all know
Cheating mofos.
the OG love triangle.
They were actually really fanfic editions as well.
Yeah, she's the queen, he's the BFF of the king. They hook up and bring about the end of Camelot, well, one part of it anyway. So, you have one job, just don't hook up with your friend's significant other. Like, come on, people, this isn't hard. And then we have Romeo and Juliet.
Two horny teenagers.
Stefan from Saturday Night Live. This duo has everything. They have forbidden love. He kills her cousin. They have murder plots.
They have hormones.
Shakespeare is apparently a big fan of doomed loves because besides them, he's got Othello and Desdemona, Hamlet and Ophelia. I'm sure there's some other ones that I don't remember from English class, but Basically, Shakespeare is that person that writes the fanfic, and it's just like, how can I make you just like
Die inside.
Yeah, die inside, send me hate mail. This is my first experience with a doomed ship. This is Joe and Lori from Little Women. If you've never read this book, I would call them friends with potential. They meet at a party. Joe is trying to hide her burnt skirt, and Lori kind of comes over, and they realize they're neighbors, and they strike up a friendship. And the thing was, Little Women, as we in the States know it, is one volume. But when it was originally published, and I believe also in the UK, it is published as two. So there's a part, I think, in the book where it's like kind of split in half, and that first volume is called Little Women. And then the second part is called Good Wives. So when the first volume came out back in like the 19th century, people were like, oh my gosh, Joe and Lori, they're gonna get together. And Louisa May Alcott got tired of people asking if they were going to get together. Because she's like, don't tell me how to write my characters. Besides, I don't even really care that much about this book anyway.
Wow.
Because someone was just like, can you write a nice, sweet story for girls? And he was like, I guess, I gotta get paid. So she's like, I'm not going to just put Joe and Lori together just because you guys want me to. And do you know what she does?
Sounds like Shonda Rhimes.
Neither of them dies, they just don't end up together. And they don't end up together because Lori ends up with Joe's little sister, Amy, who, when they were kids, threw Joe's manuscript into the fire. Like, Amy is basically the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been over 100 years and people are still upset about it. Actually, it's been almost, I think this year is the 150th anniversary of Little Women being published. And people are still mad about it.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about it. I read a great copy of this book when I was 7 years old, and it was the first time that I was just like, no! Then we get into the 20s and we get Gatsby and Daisy.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's unrequited love on his part. He has no idea the dude's alive, and he's just like, I'm going to make something of myself so that you will love me, Daisy. So he's just into him because he's rich and has money, and he has this ideal vision of her, and eventually, he dies.
Well, it's sort of implied in the story that she did kind of like him,
Yeah.
but
It took her too long, and then she was also married.
And then she was married, but she also only started liking him when he had money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because she wanted someone to take care of her.
She wanted a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, this is a classic movie one of my favorite.
Roman Holiday.
Good movie. Anne and Joe from the film Roman Holiday. So in this, Audrey Hepburn's character is Princess Anne. She's like a princess of some a very small country like Monaco. And he's doing a tour of Europe and ends up in Rome. Gregory Peck is Joe, who is an American reporter working for a wire service. And she is tired of princessing and kind of splits from her security detail. And he finds her and he realizes that it's her. And he's, goes into taking her around the city as a hot scoop, but then he catches feelings for her and she likes him. And it's a non-fatal not getting together because she's royalty, he's an average guy. It's a very bittersweet and very sweet ending, and I love the movie so much. It's so good. Okay, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
You can layer fall into this trope.
Let's not.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Before or after the reveal?
Who wouldn't fall into this trope?
Yes, kind of, maybe. But we're gonna get there. So, we have a history, so we know that this is a thing that we love in our stories. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? There are subtypes of these kind of couples. And I almost want to start a game. I wish I had some paper because I would be like, mark down, okay, so basically, if you see a ship represented up here, or a ship type represented up here, raise your hand if you've been a fan of this kind of ship. So first we have the Canon non-compliant.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
I call this also meant for someone else.
Not for them,
So
I'm just
say
in general,
that A and B
things.
are who your writers
I don't care
are
about them.
pushing together, but then C kind of comes in and they've got swag or something like that. And they're like, hey, and you're like, hey, yeah, A and C, yeah, let's do this. And of course, it's just like you just know they're not going to end up together, but you still love them anyway. And it sometimes feels like you could get together. And I feel like the most recent prominent example of this is Bella and Jacob from the
I threw up in my mouth a
series.
little.
Because there are some fans who are very convinced that maybe there might be a last minute save. And
Swerve.
Jacob fell in love with Bella's baby, so I mean
That's I've never read the books, but
No, I knew about that, but
I did not know about that part.
Is she a CGI?
Did the baby grow really quickly?
No, it was a baby, and he was like, "You want my soda eggs?"
yeah, come see me later. It requires some
That's
explanation.
highly creepy.
Pretty much.
But then in a
Damn
less,
it, peas on her.
Was creepy.
yeah, and then in a less creepy way, we have
You're not
Katniss and
wrong.
Gale in Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
So much less creepy, but still also canon non-compliant. And Katara and Zuko from Avatar.
Yes.
I never
Yes.
saw them as a viable parent. So.
I can see it.
You know, it's all in perception.
Candace and Gail.
Yeah. I did have a friend, she had not read the books before I took her to see the first Hunger Games movie. And she came out, she's like, so Katniss and her dude back in, who didn't go to the Hunger Games with her, they're gonna get together, right? And I was like,
About that,
Well, the reason Candace doesn't get with Gail is because they're too much alike, and she says in the book, you're angry, and I have enough anger on my own.
Yeah.
so then,
So it makes sense.
kind of in the same vein a little bit, we have canon incompatible.
Oh, God.
And this is a subset of canon non-compliant, and it usually involves a same-sex couple. So your fans will see potential, your creators either ignore it or play it up, but they never, cross the threshold. Regina and Emma from Once Upon a Time are a good example of this. Styles and Eric Derrick from Teen Wolf.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I feel like no matter what people say, this is going to be Sherlock and Watson from BBC Sherlock.
I can see
that.
I don't watch, but there's this whole kind of.
Jim Henderson plays Sandberg, the Sentinel.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a deep cut. That's an old school one. Okay, so then you have the third appearance of Leo, and this is the star-crossed. This is classic. Never go wrong with this one. Bad timing, societal differences, anything that kind of is a but in the he likes her or they like them and so on and so forth, but anything that is the but keeps them from getting together, and that's all, anything that's in there is game. So, we have Jack and Rose from Titanic, there's class differences, and there's not enough room on that door.
There was room.
Another example, Rogue and Gambit from X-Men.
That's true.
That one makes me sad.
Yeah, they've got some chemistry there.
They do.
They're kind of together, kind of nice.
Yeah. Actually, that kind of reminds me of another one. Did anyone watch Pushing Daisies?
Yes.
Ned and Sugar.
I'm outside. It was on. Bring that show back.
This is also a classic. Enemies or going evil.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah.
There's a rivalry, or they just plain hate you. Or in the case of this couple, sometimes the good girl or the good guy goes bad. This kind of can go either way. Your hate ships either never become official, or the evil one was somebody who started off good and they reform, but you just acted up too much and you can't really do anything about it anymore, or they just become completely irredeemable. So rivalry examples, we got Hermione and Draco and Harry and Draco.
Yep, I love that.
That makes me uncomfortable.
That makes sense.
Sherlock Holmes and Irene Adler.
Yeah,
everything.
yep.
That's good.
Half the people on Buffy.
And Stefan and Elena from the Vampire Diaries. Stefan, he has a blood problem. Blood's like his drug. I mean, of course he's a vampire, but I mean he has a really bad problem.
Even for a vampire.
Yeah. And so he has, I think around season 3, he has his going bad moment, and then of course Buffy and Angel.
Yeah, that's classic.
Then we've got your space and time relationship. Time travel, different dimensions, alternate storylines. One gets older, the other gets older slower. Of course, the Doctor and everyone.
Yeah.
And then from The Time Traveler's Wife, Claire and Henry. What happens in that book is that Henry gets displaced in time, so he gets kind of at random thrown back in time or thrown ahead in time, and it's a problem. Yeah. This is one of my favorite ones. This is The Call to Adventure. So they should be together. Common sense says they should be together, but someone else offers them the life or the opportunity or the love that they really, really want. Elizabeth and Commodore Norrington from Pirates of the Caribbean are a good example of this. Elizabeth also has this with Jack Sparrow and with Will, because Jack's a pirate and Will, he's the blacksmith. Raise your hand if you're like me and you didn't really kind of care about Will until he shows up at the end of World's End all pirated out, because oh my god.
I love Will.
I love Orlando Bloom, so
it took me a second viewing of all of them to be like, okay, yeah, well, I appreciate you.
Will's pretty cool.
You're a good dude. I like
Yeah,
you.
Elizabeth's one's so much cooler.
Elizabeth.
Until the third one, and like every time she's near somebody, they die. I'm like, oh, Elizabeth,
You are cursed.
girl, you are the cursed black pearl. Go ahead, go away. I'm just saying.
You got a point.
I mean,
Not wrong.
everybody, almost everybody.
You got a point. She's not wrong.
Then we have the call to duty.
Damn it,
Always bigger than love that keeps them apart.
my emotions.
This is always
No.
right here. Rick and Elsa from Casablanca is a perfect example of this. Here's looking at you, kid. You should watch it. A recent superhero example of this is
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wonder Woman. And then we have like the killer of all killers, Death Do They Parts.
Dang it.
Womp, womp.
Kill one or both of them basically.
Oh,
Of course.
Yeah,
William
you did
Washington,
that.
Clark and Lexa from the 100.
Oh.
Like,
I
had
Everybody's heart's
very upset
breaking.
about that. It was just like, I could feel the hurt.
I barely watched the show and I was upset.
And then Sirius and Talents from here.
I
Yep.
got one
No,
here,
you
it goes
can read
John
this.
Art from Ruby.
Oh,
You mean Remus and Tom.
yeah, Remus. I'm sorry, it's been a minute.
It's okay.
Okay, so there are exceptions. And sometimes your couple can start off looking doomed, and then they actually become endgame. And this is rare, but it's always surprising. It's always really cool when it happens. Now, Joey and Pacey from Dawson's Creek are, I believe there's even a book that kind of talks about this. It's called like The $1 Million Kiss or something like that. And what happened was on Dawson's Creek, did anybody watch Dawson's Creek? Okay, so the show starts off, Dawson, the titular Dawson, his best friend is Joey, who's played by Katie Holmes, and Joey is in love with Dawson. Dawson, at the very beginning of the series, is more into this new girl, Jen. And Pacey is like their third wheel buddy. And it was always kind of promoted as Dawson and Joey are made for each other, like, except they bicker and they just have a lot of friction. And Dawson can't get over himself or whatever. So around the end of the beginning of the third season, they realized that Pacey and Joey have this energy. And the writers are like, we should do something with this. So the third season of the show ends with Joey and Pacey basically going off and sailing on a boat together, and in the series finale, they end up together. So that's an example. And here's Han and Leia and Luke. So it starts off canon non-compliant because Luke is the hero and the hero gets the girl, but then they find out that the hero and the girl are related, and then that gets weird.
Yeah.
Very Bama.
Yeah.
Do.
And
Oh,
then we have Korra and Sami.
Oh.
Because like at the beginning it just seemed like, what was it, Korra and
Mako.
But then
Tell us how you
it ends
really
with
feel.
those two, and
Just feel it.
that was one of those ones where I didn't watch the show, but I had some friends who were really, really into it, and they started freaking out on Twitter like when the finale happened, and I was just like,
It was good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay, so
I would like.
So coping strategies, because realizing that you are in that you have a ship, you have a couple that you love, and either the canon's over or you realize like from the get that this is not going to end well, what do you do? Animation.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
That's one of
I
the
can testify to all of that.
time-tested and true ways. Then there's also, the only time, has anybody listened to the podcast Sawbones?
I've heard of them, yeah.
Okay, so Sawbones, Justin McElroy from My Brother and Me hosts this podcast with his wife Sydney, and they talk about medical history. And there's been a lot of times in human history when we've been trying to cure people, and someone will show up with this mason jar full of stuff, and they're like, it's a cure-all! And on Sawbones, the recurring statement is a cure-all, cure-alls cure nothing, anytime, or something like that. I can't remember the exact thing, oh my god, it's been a minute. But this fan fiction is the only time a cure-all works, TLC. And then also mixtapes or fan mixes are good because music heals the soul.
Yes.
And I'm a music person, so I made a suggested playlist to help you kind of deal with this and also to remind you of some of these types of shifts we went through. So the first track is Devil's Got Your Boyfriend by Tracy Bonham. And this was the theme song for a limited podcast series called Dirty John that came out last year, which does not end happily at all. It's really, like if you're into true crime, it is amazing. Listen to it, but the song Devil's Got Your Boyfriend is really good too. Then we got White Flag by Dido, because, you know, I will go down with the ship. Like, that has been on every fan mix since, like, what, 2003?
Pretty much. Repeat.
My Heart Will Go On.
Yep.
Of course, My Heart Will Go On is on there.
On every fan mix since 1997. Then we got Someone Like You by Adele.
I'm so sorry.
My Heart With You by The Rescues is, The Rescues are one of my like favorite kind of indie bands, and they have this a cappella song, and every time I listen to it, I feel tempted to cry because it's really, really pretty. I might play it for you at the end, and of all my Dune ships, it reminds me the most of Steve and Peggy from Captain America. I actually put that on a fan mix I made for them. Then we have Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer, because it's just all about realizing that you are not going to work out, and you know it, and it feels really bad, but it's just like, yeah, we got to write this out to the end. And then we've got She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5, and The One Who Got Away by Katy Perry. So,
Oh, no.
Dang it.
Why'd you put that?
now is your time. We are here for you. This is the support group. This is the therapy
That was
group.
crap. They treated her like crap.
This is my personal top 5 right here. So we've got, from my high school days, Danny and Valerie's Then we have Kate and Sawyer from Lost. I don't care. Like, I like Juliet, but I hated Jack and Kate together more than I liked Sawyer and Juliet together. So there's that. Yeah, then of course Steve and Peggy.
That's very sad.
Then we got Abby and Ichabod from Sleepy Hollow.
Don't get me started on something.
I know.
Thank you.
I know.
No.
And then Matt and Claire from Daredevil.
Yes.
Oh!
It was one of those things where you go in and you know,
Yeah.
and it's still upsetting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still very
It was
upsetting.
never gonna happen.
I know.
I know.
You cannot bring them in. You can't bring them into my show.
They
I know.
had really good chemistry.
I know.
And it just, they just weren't gonna work.
I know. I was just like, you can't do this to me. I want my money back.
Exactly.
I was like, damn it, Netflix, I want my money back. Okay, so you guys, share with me. Let's talk this out. Yes.
You go first.
Titus and Yuna, Final Fantasy X.
Mm-hmm.
Explain, because I'm...
Okay, so the game is awful. I don't recommend it. However, Titus time travels back in time like 500 years or something, and he gets there, and they're fighting the big bad, which is, no lie, it's called sin.
Oh,
And it's heavy on the metaphor.
so this is like time travel and Call of Duty.
Call it, yeah. Well, and so like as she's continuing on this journey she has to gather up summons so that she can defeat sin. Well, you find out that whatever guardian defeats sin becomes the next sin.
Oh. Wow. That's...
Spoilers?
No. Okay. I feel like
Three
myself.
different types.
And so I kept seeing that one pop up when you were talking about different times, and I'm like,
That's
I
right.
don't know where to put this word.
It's a blanket. It goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes there's crossover.
That's so sad.
Okay, who else?
I had Sean and Angela from Boy Meets World.
Oh my God.
Ultimate.
Oh
And
my
just,
God.
I'm still kind of pissed at how they were treated, especially when Girl Meets World came out.
I just refused to watch it because I was like, I can't go through
I
this
watched
watching again.
some of it was pretty good, some of it wasn't that great.
because, oh my
He
God.
Disneyfied it and,
Yeah, they Disneyfied it and dumbed it down.
yeah, tried to appeal to that.
Team.
But it just seemed like they were perfect for one another,
great.
and she helped humanize Sean a bit more, and they balance each other out, and they like each other for the right
What do you mean
reasons.
humanize Sean?
Because he was like your bad boy,
It's like Playboy, just
Yeah.
kind of going from girl to girl, and then he's like, oh my God, I found the one, and this is it, and then it was just all these other circumstances, like her dad, and the,
Well,
you know.
Sean already had a lot of, was already pretty humanized.
Yeah, he was starting to go
He
through
was
some
like
character
a good
development.
thing though, because
Yeah.
like Sean was basically like everyone was just like, you know what? How can we make this kid's life worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just wanted to kill him.
And he finally had something good in his life.
Yeah, they wanted to break down Sean without actually killing him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it wasn't. But yeah, I have one. This is from Arrow, Sarah Lance and Nissa Al Ghul.
Oh, I heard of that. Yes.
That one, I was just like, that one was good, and I was like, and I wanted more, but what they did, yeah. That was,
I mean, same show, him
Yeah.
and, I quit watching like 3 seasons ago, but, the blonde techie chick,
oh, Felicity?
Felicity, yeah.
Felicity and-
I wanted her to get with Arrow. 'Cause,
She
like-
did, she did.
Oh,
she did.
She is.
Oh, cool.
She is. Spoiler alert. but
Wow.
Well, then you have to watch him right away.
she got married, divorced, and married again.
Wow.
I didn't know they went through all that.
Problem solved.
Too many emotions.
Who else got a ship?
I already mentioned something about Kira and John from Ruby. That was, I knew she was going to die because I got spoiled, and then I like watched it, and it was so sad. And I'm not over it. Nobody's over it. Everyone loved Kira.
It's okay. I don't know why I forget. Well, I've been thinking of so many, but I just remembered one. Did anyone watch the UK set show Misfits?
I've heard of
I've
it.
heard of it, but I didn't really watch it, yeah.
I think the guy who played, anyone watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ramsay Bolton from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is on there, and it's basically like these young offenders who get assigned community service, and then they get superpowers. And so, yeah, so it's him and this girl named Simon and Alicia, and they get stuck in some sort of time loop where they keep sacrificing each other to save the other one, which is horrifying to think about. But yeah, that's another one of my favorites.
I have another one. Crap, I just lost it.
Well, while you're thinking of that, you said who and everybody. Is there a particular who ship that you have?
Oh man, I kind of, I think, everyone likes the Doctor and Rose, but I like 9 and Rose a little bit better than 10 and Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be mine. Anyone got anybody from books?
Onward video game.
Tyrion and Shay.
This is awesome. Zack, Cloud, Sephiroth, and Eris.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to balance each other out really well. But yeah.
Well, you mentioned books, and like it didn't play out the same way on the show, but in the Game of Thrones books, Tyrion and Shay were like legit for each other, and like they just
Oh
they just
yeah,
didn't get their happy
I've
ending.
heard about that.
Because like Tywin. Anyway, but yeah.
Anybody else?
I'm trying to remember the character.
What was the Ugly Betty, the dorky guy that she was dating for a while?
I cannot remember his name.
I want to say it's Ned, but I don't think that's right. But I like Henry.
Yeah.
I liked them together, and I thought they were going to be a thing. And then the whole thing with him getting Charlie pregnant, or whatever her name
Oh
was.
yeah.
And I was like, no, they were perfect for one another. And then she ended up with Daniel, like her boss toward the end. And I'm like, it felt weird. I didn't like that at
Yeah.
all.
I just like when they kind of do that last minute switch thing.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, because the series had been declining at that point, and they're just like, oh, well, we're going to cancel it. So here, y'all just end up together. But I always saw them as legitimate friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was kind of mad when they didn't get together, so.
Sure.
One other question, do you consider anti-ship a category?
Like, you
Like
would,
when there's a canon couple
uh-huh,
that you don't want to be together?
yes.
What is,
Hate shit, whatever.
hate ship,
Yeah, I think it's hate
anti-ship,
ship.
what would you call that?
I go with anti-ship or hate ship.
Okay.
Well, I mean, hate ship is also another thing where like two people hate each other, but you want them to move.
I have several of those. Several. But one I just remembered, but I guess kind of different anyway, is Snape and Lily from Harry Potter. Technically, is that both him losing her to James, and then him losing her permanently from stupid decisions and not listening to the full prophecy. But you know, it's neither here nor there.
Well, technically he was thrown out when he got halfway down.
I know, but still.
So that part wasn't his fault.
Yes and no, he was there still.
This one, I don't know what category this would be, but from the original Teen Titans series, the cartoon,
Yeah.
Raven and Beast Boy.
Oh, yeah. I love
Raven
that.
and Beast
That's very
Boy.
Beast Boy was great.
They never ended up together.
No, they didn't, but he wanted them.
You wanted them to?
Has there been one that you were surprised got together? Because recently, my 90s girl heart was very happy with the Hey Arnold Jungle movie.
Oh, wait a minute, did Arnold and Helga get... Shut up, really? Oh my God! How, Sway, how? Well, he's technically, there was...
Stuff to watch.
It was like technically, I remember there was like that date thing when he thought she was like that like
my
French
God.
girl, and
Yeah.
but like they actually hit it off, so it was kind of like a projection of maybe that is a possibility, but it actually happened.
Yeah.
Unibrow and all. I am fascinated by this. I have to watch that.
Yeah, it was so good.
Wow.
It was definitely very good.
Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle.
Actually, in the comics too, they're about to get married.
Yeah, I know.
Yes!
I know,
If-
but
if.
there are more canons where they don't.
Yeah.
True.
They do.
True.
So- and it is, I feel like it is very much both the call to duty and the call to adventure.
Yeah.
Because Selena Kyle and Bruce could work, but Batman and Catwoman can't.
Right.
And so there's this element of their personality,
And
he with the
that's
duty,
really
she with the
rotating them.
adventure.
Right.
She can't give up hers, and
He can't give up his,
either.
exactly.
And so it falls into both of those categories.
What we can say would, like I said, Joe and Lori was my first Doom ship. Do you remember what your first Doom ship was?
No, I don't think anybody's going to know this one. My first Doom ship was Locke and Rachel from Final Fantasy VI. Anybody?
No.
No.
I just now started playing Final Fantasy 3/6, so yeah, you can tell me. Go ahead.
Okay. So he's a thief / treasure hunter, and he's taken her with him to like see a magnificent treasure. But while they're climbing their way up there, she gets in an accident. She falls down. She loses her memory. Her family blames him for the accident, and she's like, and she comes out. Okay. Text is 16-bit, it still hurts. She comes out and she says, I don't know who you are, but my family loves me and you're making them angry, so you need to leave right now.
No, stop it, Kevin.
I ain't done.
Ah!
So he leaves town, and her town is devastated by Kefka. Last thing she says is his name. No! Then in the second half of the game, they go through 3 times. This is the last one, I promise. Then he finds the Phoenix Esper, which has the power to restore life. He brings her back, and she says that his mission is more important than her life. No! So she says, Phoenix, give your power to Locke. And so they use that power to save the world.
Oh, God.
Well,
Yeah.
now I need to go lie down.
Well, it helps that like in the game that's stretched out over like 15 hours or something.
I have one of my favorite student shifts that kind of didn't happen, but in Supernatural, Castiel and Meg, that was really good.
Oh.
They were pretty good. They couldn't happen because the actress got MS, so she had to leave. But
That was beyond.
but they kind of confirmed it in the
Yeah.
end, where she was like, "Go save your brother," and like,
Oh.
it made me.
There's something about the Call of Duty that hurts a lot.
It really does.
So is self-sacrifice, does that fall under the Call of Duty
Yeah.
category?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, in Wonder Woman, like, Steve Trevor knows that there's like no way that they can, get the mission done if he doesn't get the plane up there
Yeah.
or whatever, so. And then, of course, like in Captain America, he chooses to go down the plane.
He went down with the ship.
Oh.
Oh, sure. You horrid.
I heard too.
If you're hurting, we're all good.
I know, right? Definitely a support group. Yes, yes.
So I did promise I was,
I can have one Tylee and Azula from Avatar.
Oh,
Yes.
that was because Azula strikes me as someone who can be very abusive.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
just like, yeah, I'm staying away from you.
But there's like a lot of evidence to prove like that she cared for Tylee and stuff.
She almost burned her alive. She almost burned her alive when we were first introduced to Tylee.
Baby,
She
don't
almost
hurt
burned
me.
her alive.
Don't hurt
Apparently
me
wasn't
no
that-
more.
it wasn't-
song, the
Love this love.
first song from the King in Hamilton where he's like, I'll send a fully armed battalion.
That is
Yes, exactly.
I was really surprised that she even had friends, so to speak.
Yeah, if Tylee wasn't as good at what she did as she was, she would have been killed when we first saw her.
Yeah.
Because of Azula. If Tylee wasn't as good.
Oh man, I thought of another song to add to the playlist, The Scientist by Coldplay.
Yes, that video also does not help.
Back to the stuff.
It just makes me sad now.
Okay, and I did
I need fan
promise,
fiction.
see if I can pull up this rescue song.
No, that's
Recording, you're gonna get flagged.
always. I want to include it.
I should have brought tissues. Like, I think if I did this.